Dear students, today's topic of my lecture, magnetic effect of current, part 4. So in this part 4, what you have to learn, you just see here. First we learn about moving coil galvanometer, then its current sensitivity, voltage sensitivity. After that we learn about shunt and then conversion of galvanometer into ammeter and voltmeter. And finally we discuss the difference between ammeter and voltmeter. So first we start moving coil galvanometer. So you just see that so many moving coil galvanometers, and which one is in your syllabus, that you must know. So this one is in your syllabus. This moving coil galvanometer, that generally which we use in our labs, and that one is in your syllabus. So what is that? First you understand. After that we understand its principle, working, construction, and then we find some mathematical expressions. And later on we study about its sensitivity. So moving coil galvanometer, basically it is an instrument which is used to measure feeble current, very less current, that is in the order of the microampere in an electric circuit, or to know only the direction of flow of current in the circuit. It does not measure the magnitude of the current in the circuit. It is connected in the circuit in series, just like an ammeter. It is symbolically represented by the letter capital G, as you can see here in the diagram or in the figure, like that. And it has the zero dial mark at the center. You can see that here, this one. And the deflection of this needle on it gives the current, and the direction of the deflection of needle indicates the direction of the flow of current. So that you must know about the moving coil galvanometer. Now, what is actual in your syllabus, on what principle this moving coil galvanometer depends, and what is its construction and working, means what is basically inside this moving coil galvanometer, that you must understand. So for that purpose, again we say that galvanometer is a very sensitive device. It gives full scale deflection for a current of the order microampere. So as you have seen already, the zero onto the dial is at the center, so it can reflect onto the left side as well as onto the right side. So that's why you can get the direction of the current. Now what is its principle? Its principle basically based on the fact that when a current carrying coil is used in uniform magnetic field, then it will experience a torque. That is, when a current carrying coil is placed in uniform magnetic field, then it will experience a torque. On this fact, its working is based. Now, what is its construction and working? You can see that this is the inside of the moving coil galvanometer. So you must understand. So in it, what is that? This moving coil galvanometer, that we also say MCG, that consists of a coil. See that here it is a coil. This is coil. Consists of a coil with many turns, right? Free to rotate about its fixed axis in uniform radial magnetic field. And this radial magnetic field is produced by these two concave shaped poles of the permanent magnet. As you already studied what is the radial magnetic field in case of the torque act on the current carrying rectangular loop. That is when the maximum torque experienced by the current carrying loop, and that is only possible when it sets its axis parallel to the magnetic field. So that is produced by these two concave type poles. And There is a cylindrical soft iron core. This is a cylindrical soft iron core. The top view you are observing, which not only makes the field radial but also increase the strength of the magnetic field. Now, this is the pointer and this is a scale. And this pointer move onto this scale so that you can get the current and its direction. This whole apparatus is enclosed in a glass chamber. And there is a spring also provided here. This is the spring SP. So that bring this coil to its original position so that the pointer will come to the its original position. That is, the spring is used for restoring the position of the coil. So when a current flows through the galvanometer, then a torque acts onto it, and that torque is known as magnetic torque. And that magnetic torque you have already studied and calculated, that is tau equal to NIAB. Since the magnetic field is the radial, so that's why here tau equal to NIAB. Now magnetic torque, this tends to rotate the coil, and the spring that is provided, that produces a counter torque, so that a balance of the magnetic torque can takes place. Then in a equilibrium condition, this magnetic torque is equal to the counter torque, which is called restoring torque, so that a steady deflection takes place. So in equilibrium condition, K phi equal to NIAB, where K is the torsional constant of the spring, which is very important factor for increasing the sensitivity of the moving coil galvanometer. And that is, we say that it is the restoring torque per unit twist. Means restoring torque equal to K phi, then K equal to restoring torque upon phi. And what is phi? Phi is the deflection. So that's why the K is also known as restoring torque per unit twist. And the deflection phi is indicated on the scale with the help of the pointer that is attached to the spring. Then we have phi is equal to, from here, phi equal to Pina upon K. So from here you can see that B is constant, N is constant, A is constant for a given moving coil galvanometer, in which the spring that we are using for its material K is constant. So what we get, if we are keeping all these factors constant, then phi directly proportional to I. It means that deflection produced in galvanometer is directly proportional to the current flows through it. Now we have to learn the sensitivity of moving coil galvanometer. So there are two types of the sensitivity of moving coil galvanometer. One is current sensitivity, another one is voltage sensitivity. So first you understand current sensitivity. Current sensitivity means the deflection produced in galvanometer even when a unit current passes through it. Then we say that the moving coil galvanometer is very sensitive towards current, and that is known as current sensitivity, and it is represented by IS. S is subscript. So what we get? Is equal to phi upon I, that is deflection produced in galvanometer when the unit current passes through it. Phi deflection produced in galvanometer when I current passes. So that's why Is equal to phi upon I. Now from here, phi upon I is equal to BNA upon K or NBA upon K. So the current sensitivity that depends on number of turns, magnetic field, area of the coil, and torsional constant of spring. Now, how we can increase the sensitivity of moving coil galvanometer? Or before that, you just understand the SI unit of current sensitivity. Reflection unit is division or radian. Current measured in ampere. So its SI unit becomes division per ampere or radian per ampere. Now the current sensitivity that we can increase by increasing the number of turns, by increasing the magnetic field, by increasing the area of the coil, but by decreasing the torsional constant. Then we can increase the sensitivity. But there are some limitations. The first limitation is that this is capital N. When we increase the number of turns of the coil, then what happens? Then the resistance of the galvanometer also increases. Means number of turns you increases, then it means the length of the coil increases, and the resistance is directly proportional to the length. So that's why the resistance of the galvanometer also increases, and the coil also becomes bulky. So that's why we cannot increase the number of turns beyond the certain limit. So there is a upper limit for increasing the number of turns. So that's why the optimum value of number of turns should be used. Another factor is magnetic field must be large. Yes, that can be large. And galvanometer also works onto the large magnetic field so that the influence of nearby magnetic field can be neutralized. So the B can be increased, and by using the strong permanent magnet, typically one value we take B equal to 0.5 Tesla, and the additional advantage of increasing the value of B, that instrument is unaffected by the external magnetic field. For example, we say that the magnetic field of Earth is 5 into 10 raised to minus 4 Tesla. So that's why we say that the moving coil galvanometer works onto the high magnetic field. And the third one is area must be large. Again, there is a upper limit, because if you increase the area, then the coil becomes bulky, and then instrument becomes bulky, as well as resistance also increases. So there is a certain limit or upper limit up to which we can increase the area of the coil. Now the fourth factor is K, that is torsional constant. Its value should be small, and the value of K is very small for the material phosphor bronze. And by using this material, we have to make the spring that we use in moving coil galvanometer. And for this reason, we use spring of the material made by phosphor bronze material, and current sensitivity can be increased by decreasing the value of K. So this is about current sensitivity. Now we take voltage sensitivity. Similarly, we can define the voltage sensitivity, the deflection produced in galvanometer when the unit potential difference applied across it, and it is represented by V subscript S. And then Vs equal to phi upon I, but V equal to IR, and phi upon I is equal to Is. So Is upon R, and Is is NBA upon K. So finally you will get Vs equal to NBA upon K, right? Now, thus the high voltage sensitivity require the same feature as in case of the current sensitivity. Now, what is the advantage of moving coil galvanometer? Moving coil galvanometer essentially consists of the two parts. One is permanent magnet, that is the concave type of poles of the permanent magnet, which provides the magnetic field and the current carrying rectangular coil. This arrangement has the following advantages. The first one is The sensitivity of galvanometer can be increased by increasing number of turns, magnetic field, area of the coil, while decreasing the value of torsional constant K. Second, this instrument has the linear scale. Third, since the instrument uses the high value of B, that is the magnetic field, then the deflection is almost uninfluenced by external magnetic field. So these are the advantage of moving coil galvanometer. Now we take some numerical problems and concept based problems. The first one is increasing the current sensitivity of galvanometer may not necessarily increase its voltage sensitivity. Justify this statement. So many times this question came in examination. Means if we increase the current sensitivity, then it is not necessary that voltage sensitivity also increases. So how we can justify our statement? So for that purpose, you know that the current sensitivity is Is equal to phi upon I equal to NBA upon K, and voltage sensitivity is Vs equal to NBA upon Kr. So the current sensitivity can be increased by increasing number of turns, magnetic field, area of the coil, and decreasing the value of K. So if the number of turns we make twice, then what happens? The resistance of the galvanometer also becomes twice, because resistance is directly proportional to length. Then in that condition, what happens? You see that here Vs1 equal to, we make the number of turns twice, then 2n Bna kept constant upon K 2R. Resistance also becomes twice. So this 2 and this 2 get cancelled. Finally again you will get NBA upon Kr, which is equal to Es. So it means it is not necessary, if you increase the current sensitivity, then voltage sensitivity can also be increased. So in that case you can see that the voltage sensitivity remains unchanged. Clear? Now we take another example also. So here in another example, this question is also very important. So many times by changing the values that is used or asked in exam. The question is that the current sensitivity of a moving coil galvanometer increases by 20% when its resistance is increased by a factor of 2. Calculate by what factor the voltage sensitivity changes. Means if we increase the sensitivity of galvanometer, that is the current sensitivity of moving coil galvanometer, by 20%, and in that condition the resistance increased by factor of 2. By taking this figures which is given in question, we have to find out by what factor voltage sensitivity changes. So you see that here we take what is given, that is Is dash equal to Is plus 20% of Is as per question. So that becomes Is dash equal to 120 upon 100 Is, and R dash equal to 2R as per question. Then voltage sensitivity is Vs equal to Is upon R, and the new voltage sensitivity, that is Vs dash equal to Is dash upon R dash. Substitute these values. Then in place of Is dash, you substitute this value, and in place of R dash you substitute this value. So that becomes 120 upon 100 Is into 1 upon 2R, which is equal to, after the calculation, 3 by 5 Vs. So 3 by 5 Vs is the factor, 3 by 5 is the factor by which voltage sensitivity increases or changes. And in terms of the percentage, if you want to calculate, then percentage decrease in voltage sensitivity equal to Vs minus Vs dash upon Vs multiplied by 100. The formula be used and put the values. Vs minus 3 by 5 Vs upon Vs into 100, which is equal to 2 Vs upon 5 Vs multiplied by 100. When you solve it, then you will get 40%. So percentage decrease in voltage sensitivity is 40%. So sometimes in examination, these values are changed. This for 20% in place of 20%, 50% sometimes gave, sometimes 40% gave, but the formula remains same, concept remains same. That you have to apply it and calculate it. Now shunt. Shunt is basically a low resistance connected in parallel with galvanometer to protect it from strong current, and it is represented by S. You can see here, this is a galvanometer symbol and this is galvanometer whose resistance is capital G, and a low resistance connected in parallel to the galvanometer, that is known as shunt. So when a current I comes in the galvanometer, then it divided into two parts from here. Ig goes to the galvanometer and the rest of current passes through the shunt. So that's why we say that it protects the galvanometer from the strong current. Let us we calculate. So apply the or calculate the potential difference across to the galvanometer, and that is equal to the potential difference across to the shunt because it is connected in parallel. So I minus Ig equal to Ig, and that is equal to Ig equal to, rearrange it. So Ig equal to S upon G plus S I. So this much of the current that passes through the galvanometer. Now, how we can convert galvanometer into ammeter? So for converting the galvanometer into ammeter, we have to connect a shunt with galvanometer. So we say that galvanometer can be connected into ammeter by connecting a shunt with it. Then that conversion gives you ammeter. Then you can see here, similarly, same diagram, find out same way the potential difference across to the galvanometer is equal to potential difference across to the shunt. So that's why I minus IgG S equal to IgG, or we can say that S equal to IgG upon I minus Ig. So this much of the value of the shunt that connect with galvanometer, then it convert into ammeter. Now you see that for a ideal ammeter, what is the value of the resistance? Very important question. For a ideal ammeter, the value of the resistance is 0. You remember it. Now what is ammeter? So you just little bit must have the idea, although you have already studied this in the lower classes, but still here you must understand. Ammeter is an instrument which is used to measure the magnitude of the electric current in a circuit. So galvanometer is an instrument which is used the direction of current, right? And here the ammeter is used to measure the magnitude of the electric current. It is connected in series in the circuit so that the whole current of the circuit passes through it. And that is represented by the symbol A, and you can see that here it has the two terminals, one is positive, another one is negative. Similarly, these terminals are here, this is positive and this one is negative. Okay, and the electric current enters into the terminals marked, these are the two terminals that is marked with positive and negative sign, and positive terminal is connected to the higher potential of the battery and the negative terminal connected to the lower potential of the battery, and that with the help of that we can measure the current in the circuit. Now how we convert the galvanometer into voltmeter? So galvanometer can be converted into the voltmeter by connecting a very high resistance in series with it. You can see here in the diagram, this is the galvanometer, R is the high resistance connected in series, and here it is a load resistance that is connected across to this device. Then again we have to find out the potential difference across to this load resistance, and that is equal to the potential difference across to this combination. So what we will get? V equal to Ig within bracket is G plus R. G plus R is the effective resistance of voltmeter. And then R equal to V upon Ig minus capital G. So this much of the resistance we require to connect in series with galvanometer to convert it into voltmeter. Now similarly here, the resistance of an ideal voltmeter is infinite. So you just remember it. And just you must have little bit idea about the voltmeter. What is that? Again, it is an instrument which is used to measure the potential difference between 2 points of a circuit. It is connected always in parallel across to the 2 points about which potential is to be measured. And these are the two terminals. This one is positive and this one is negative, and it is represented by V. And you see that the representation is here. This is positive terminal, this is negative terminal, and the current enters into through the terminal marked with plus sign. So that's why the plus terminal is connected to a point of higher potential of the battery or the cell. Then we can measure the potential difference between any 2 points of a circuit. Now the difference between the ammeter and voltmeter. Ammeter is a low resistance instrument. Voltmeter is a high resistance instrument. Effective resistance in case of the ammeter, because the shunt, that is the low resistance, connected in parallel to galvanometer. So that's why it is Gs upon G plus S. In case of the voltmeter, high resistance connected in series. So that's why its effective resistance is capital G plus R. Capital G is the resistance of galvanometer. And the shunt resistance is a very small, and S equal to Ig capital G upon I minus Ig, and the series resistance in voltmeter capital R equal to V upon Ig minus capital G is a very high. Fourth point, it is always connected in series. It is means ammeter is always connected in series. Voltmeter is always connected in parallel. Resistance of ideal ammeter is 0. Resistance of an ideal voltmeter is infinite. And sixth point, its resistance is less, means ammeter's resistance is less than that of galvanometer, whereas resistance of voltmeter is greater than that of galvanometer. Seventh point, ammeter, in case of the ammeter, it is not possible to decrease the range of given ammeter, but in case of the voltmeter, it is possible to decrease the range of given voltmeter. Now, if you like my video, then like it, subscribe, press the bell icon. Thank you and have a nice day.